Hello there, and welcome back to part 2 of the history of the Werneth Incline. This week we will be journeying down the Chadderton branch line. We start here at the former entrance of the Chadderton goods yard on Hunt Lane. This photo from the 1950s shows the coal heap and the benzene tanks. Benzene was a byproduct of coke production. Today, the same spot is far less interesting. With the widening of the junction between Hunt Lane and Broadway, obliterating any evidence of the entrance to the yard. This is the same location from the other side. The terraced houses were demolished and have been replaced by newer housing. Heading further up Hunt Lane, we see the heavily creosoted old sleeper fence of the yard perimeter. The fence only provided a visual screen, but the noise and dust were still evident in the neighbourhood. Nor did it provide any protection from the bitter wind howling across the fields opposite. Today, it is the junction of North Dean Park on the new estate. Approaching the right-hand bend, we have the gates to Hunt Lane Farm, with the sleeper fence visible behind. Today, it is the entrance to Radcliffe School. Onto the bridge, and you can see that little has changed, apart from the removal of the higher columns on the bridge wall. Below the bridge is another story. This mural, reflecting the railway heritage and community spirit of Chadderton, was created with help from the Chadderton Historical Society, made by students and artists from Manchester-based Spearfish Artists and the Chadderton residents. Continuing beyond Hunt Lane Bridge, we begin our trip down the branch towards Milton Junction. Looking to our right, we can see the original concrete wall, which is visible in the previous 1980s photo. Now, at the Ferneyfield access gate, we can see what was once the 4-track wide run-round section of the yard. This was used so the engine would be leading the wagons going back down the gradient and preventing runaways. Visible here is some of the original Palisade fencing, and beyond the new green fencing of the high school, which is very common on most modern railway lines today. Now we approach the end of the run-round point. The track reduces to 2 lines, and in later years just 1, as it crosses the access road to Ferneyfield Farm. Thank you to Jeff Jones, whose photos have been invaluable in this project. And now over the crossing and onward. Looking back to where we have just been, we see Ferneyfield Farm here. The tree-lined avenue, now marking the railway's previous route. Panning left to reveal Chadderton Junction and the embankment it was built on. And beyond to Milton Junction and what's left of the main line between Manchester Victoria and Rochdale. Just beyond Chadderton Junction, there was a small canal branching off from the Rochdale Canal, which supplied the colliery at Ferneyfield. The canal is now under another housing estate, but the route of the towpath is still visible and walkable through the backyards and gardens. Approaching the Long On underpass, I find what might be an original sleeper being used to prevent gravel from being washed down the sloping path. The path at the bottom of the slope provided access over and under the railways, seen here once again in the 1950s. Descending the path now, the railway would have been overhead and on the bridge seen previously. The route now crosses the original path at this crossroads. The path leading off to the left provided access over the railways. Looking at this aerial view, the path is located on the left-hand side of the image, just before the line merged at Chadderton Junction, which is our next port of call. These photos are from March 1964, shortly before the closure of the Werneth line. You can see that the Chadderton spur has already been reduced to a single track. Chadderton Junction also had a signal box, shown here in 1948. Today there is nothing, but this was once two main running lines, a siding on the right and a signal box on the left. As we approach Milton Junction, our trip is halted by the Rochdale Canal. In these wonderful shots from 1948, the signal box and the mills of Oldham Werneth are visible, and the Chadderton line branching off in the distance to the left. This one shows the canal heading towards Foxdenton, and the next two show the difference 40 years can make. The colour one taken in 1982. The bridge over the canal was removed sometime after the 8th of August 1993, when the line officially closed. This Lancashire and Yorkshire built goods line was opened on the 12th of August 1914, and the line was lifted the 30th of September 1991. It survived 2 world wars and even managed to remain classed as open without any track for the last 2 years. The last known coal train working along the branch line was a Class 47, 144 in 1988. I hope you enjoyed this trip along the Chadderton branch line. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you all next week for part 3, Middleton Junction.